to see Wicked #2, yay! And I bought this. Well, I bought it last time, but it's too hot, so I'm going to take it off right now. So, yep. We were supposed to go and see Wicked Part 2 with the Peanut Gallery, but stuff sometimes happens, so no Peanut Gallery. So the Peanut Gallery can now heckle from the Peanut Gallery properly and ask the silly questions that people who haven't seen it yet would want to ask. Bunch of things about this movie. Let's start with the good news. The good news is that this is a part 2 of a thing that was filmed in succession. They did one big filming and made two movies. That means that the production is the same, the people are the same, the quality is the same. So if you like the first one, you're going to like this one. Good news. I have no complaints about the production at all, the acting, the singing. I think they made a good use of what they had or what they, I'm sure, got in, because I think the biggest problem that this movie has altogether is that it has to cater to 4 different audiences. 4. Which is an ungodly amount. It has to cater to the people who like the original books. They at least shouldn't have to hate it, otherwise you're going to lose those fans. That's one group. Then the people who liked the original movie, the 1939 movie, definitely don't want to alienate those. And then the people who liked this book, Wicked the book, you don't want to alienate those. And then there's people who love the musical itself, which is what we're here for. 4 audiences, all with 4 wants and demands. Actually 5 audiences. Also the people who watched the very first one also now are an audience that needs to be pleased for this one. So the book, the 1990 something book by Gregory Maguire, is a fanfic on the old story, but it's not. It's actually a fanfic of the old movie, because it takes the movie lore as gospel, whereas that added a couple of things, like the fact that Elphaba is green. That's movie lore only. And it puts it in the book and runs with it. Basically, that book is a fanfic. Is it a good fanfic? It has all the hallmarks of a fanfic, where you take elements of the original, leave out some you're not interested in, enhance and expand onto an idea that you have, which is exactly what this guy did. There is many fanfics out on the internet right now for free that you don't have to pay for, that are not published, that do the same thing and or better in many different fandoms. Should it have been a book? I don't know. I don't know. Now that it is a book, somebody made it into a musical. I don't know why. One thing they did do was clean up some of the stuff that's in the book, because that's bad. Literally, it's the thing has all the tropes that a semi-good fanfic has, like relationships that you don't want to see in anything. People have seen film number 1. No, Elphaba is the result of an affair of her mother and a person. That's how they did it in the film. In the book, She is the result of a date rape by persons unknown of mother. Mother was not asked about any of this. Does she want this? No. But nobody asked. That's in the book. They took that out, they changed it. The thing, they did that from the book to the musical, and then from the musical, they did it again towards this movie because even the musical is too rough in places. There you go. Because you can actually do stuff on stage, which is sort of like you can, somebody can go, oh, and fall over, be dead. Whereas if you would show that in a movie, you would have to do, like splatter of blood and the whole thing. Because that is how movies are. A stage, you can just go like this and go, oh, I'm dead. And it's perfectly believable. You know? So there is that problem, and I was worried about number 2 that there was because I knew there was a scene in the original musical where a person is tortured horribly, and we don't want to see that. And the film realized we don't want to see that, so they I know when it should have been, but they don't even mention it, so they skip over it like. There's the other scene, and they took that one off screen real quickly, in a theatrical sort of way. Okay, let me talk about first. Is this movie worth seeing? If you like the first one, you'll like this one. The last bit of good news about this one is because I was a little bit worried that they were going to slow in the first one. The first one very much felt to me like Act 1 of a 3-act piece. So I was very worried that the second one was going to be Act 2 and there was going to be a part 3. But no, they put the rest of the story is in this second part. This is the final part. You can go home now after this one. And that I think that's actually good news. I think that as much as you want people to be singing forever and ever, this needs to not run on forever and ever. I don't think that would work. I already had the problem with the first one. It was going too slowly. This one was a little faster, and still so that's the good news is if you like the first one, you'll like this one. Hey, yay. The singing was beautiful. I haven't seen the original musical, so I don't know what songs are actually in that, but I strongly suspect that Madame Morrible probably had a song in it. She does not here because Michelle Yeoh doesn't sing very well. And all kudos to her for at least trying. She does have a couple of sung lines, and you realize that, she should not be singing her own bit. This is fine. I don't mind. I love her as is. I don't mind that. But I think there's a song like a song cut or maybe a song repurposed in some other way. So I think there's a lot of shifting about of songs. There's also for this new one, there's a couple of original new songs because they had that much runtime, so you have room for more songs. The original score to the musical, they got them in and they wrote a couple of extra songs, which is nice. The biggest issue I have, and I think that's with the original musical, is that I think Elphaba and Glinda are too much in the same range. So they sing a couple of duets together, and they don't sing enough duets with other people to get that offset, that nice offset that different voices have. And because the songs, and I do understand why this is. The range of women is generally that, and you want a couple of good singers who can keep doing it, and you want to write something that other singers of good enough quality can sing it, so you have to get a median, and so you have two voices that are very similar. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo do have different voices. Ariana Grande can go up really high, and she every chance she gets, she goes up that high because that's what she's been hired to do. Fair. And I think Cynthia can probably also go high, but she never does because that's Ariana's part. So she goes down, but I think they're still very close in register, and they are different voices. There's a moment where they sing a verse, two different texts, and the one way around, Ariana sings the higher part and Cynthia sings the slightly lower part, and then they do it again, but they turn it around, and you can hear that it sounds very different. That it's obviously the same bit, but the sound they make together is very different, and that was very pretty, I have to say. That's it. I wasn't a big fan of the music, I have to say, nor was I of the other one. But I am weird about music that I hear for the first time. I need a time. My brain needs to percolate it for a while. But I did rewatch the first one again before I was up to date on the story. And I really only liked Defying Gravity. All the rest was, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, and the singing is beautiful. But it's that's probably me. If you love it, you love it. That's absolutely sure. But they're not bangers for me, and there wasn't any bangers in this one for me at all. So that's should you go and see it? If you like the first one, you will enjoy this one. So I'm going to go to the spoilers now, because the things I didn't like all had to do with the story and the story choices of how it was made. Let's start with the fact that there was no banger at the end. There was no big musical number at the end where I sort of expected it. So they were going for a last moment, and then bang, there was credits. I'm going, what? Whereas before they had you ended with Defying Gravity, which was absolutely banger to end on. That was absolutely wonderful, but nothing. And the thing I don't like about the entire story is the premise of subverting expectation. I think that's what the book is about. Except that the book, the 1992 book, I believe it's 1992, subverting the expectation of you have this evil witch person, and she turns out to be the protagonist of the story, and there is reasons for it. We can argue about whether or not good reasons or all of that. And then when you take it onto the musical and then into this movie, you have a sort of a very weird juxtaposition of who is good and who is bad, and who is perceived to be good and who is perceived to be bad, because this is what it ends up at the end. And this is why I'm putting the spoilers here. When it's this for the people who haven't seen the movie and are fine with spoilers, Elphaba is a green young lady in a world where nobody is green, so she gets a lot of flack for that. She is also one of the few people who actually has magic, even though people want to have magic, but they don't always have it. She ends up in that school with Glinda, who wants to be magical but isn't, and is very, very pink and very jealous, very insipid, very, very superficial. She's very superficial. They do make a friendship of sorts. It's not easy, but you get there in the end. And Madame Morrible, the teacher at the school, notices Elphaba for her talents, more talent than Madame Morrible has. And she trains her for a while, and then she gets the wizard to take notice, and then Elphaba is sent to the Emerald City, and Glinda comes along, and they end up at the wizard, and some back and forth, but it turns out the wizard is not altogether very good, and his intentions are not altogether very good, and neither was Madame Morrible, and a lot of people who are supposed to be the good are not so very good, and Elphaba, who is green, wearing black, and there's always, she does make mistakes, and she feels very bad about whenever she makes a mistake with magic. The magic is very volatile in this thing, and it's also permanent. So if you make a mistake, it's permanent, which I think is actually a good way of making it count, because one of the beefs I have a bunch of magic things like Harry Potter is everything can be reversed very easily. And here it can't be. It's permanent. She makes a mistake, it's a permanent mistake. Yeah. So be sure you know be sure you're going to be doing something, because it's going to be permanent, And the first time it happened, she doesn't know that, because the wizard doesn't tell her that. Wizard knows. He just doesn't tell her that until it's until after it's already taken place. So that's in the first one. So she breaks with all of them and goes her own way, and that's what this film is about. As she goes her own way, she gets an incredibly bad reputation, because the wizard and Madame Morrible poisons everybody against her, and Glinda doesn't protest. Glinda is not having. Glinda is not good here. Absolutely not. And the upshot is that her reputation is so effed up that she decides to throw in the hat, literally. And she stages a little melting moment, which was fake, of course. It is fake. It is fake. Thank you. Fake. Engineered by your friend, the Scarecrow. Yes. And after that, she has to leave. She leaves Oz. She actually leaves Oz, because there's no room for her. There's no room for her. And then, because Glinda does get to talk one more time to Elphaba about it, and she realizes that there's error of ways and that needs to be faced. And just before Elphaba dies, Glinda doesn't know she's actually that's a fake. Glinda thinks she's dead, so Glinda thinks she's dead, and she becomes Glinda the Good now, and does some things she should be doing, like getting rid of the wizard, because she basically kicked out the wizards out of Oz. You're going now. Take your balloon and F. Because he's bad. The entire film shows he's bad. What he is and what he does, and also spoiler, how he figures into the birth of Elphaba. Because whichever version, the book or this movie, her mother took a drinky drink, and the drinky drink was in the film was under much hilarity with a gentleman, and in the book less so. Anyway, the drinky drink was green, and after that she was pregnant and had a green baby, and the drinky drink of course belonged to the wizards. We don't know what drinky drink it was, but yeah, he drinks it himself as well. It's obviously an opiate of some sort, because yeah. the theme of poppy flowers, which is of course poppies are the where opium comes from, are in the original book, and they are also in the other book, and they are also in the last movie, and also in this movie. Wearing a little poppy, yeah, we know, if we are aware. And I even talked about the sister, because she had a sister, the sister who was not the who had not come out of an affair or anything like that. Their sister was definitely the father's child, whereas she was not. The father may not have known that she was not his child, but he may have suspected. He was never fond of Elphaba, but he fond of the other girl. But the other girl ended up in a wheelchair. So the reason for that is because the book, the 1992 book, has her in I think believe that there was something else wrong with her, but for a stage it's easier to put you in it. A real wheelchair is much easier because now you can actually get an actress to do it, to a wheelchair actress to do it. Yay! So perfect. And they indeed have a wheelchair actress doing this. Problem is that this sister, after, because the sister also goes to the school, and her father was the governor of Munchkin Land, and then when her father dies, she becomes the governor of Munchkin Land. And yeah, she is the sister of the person who turned out to be the wicked witch, and the one of the West, and she is the one in the East. Yeah, she's the wicked witch of the East. She's the one that Dorothy is going to lend her house on. And she does. So we have one dead sister. And of course, then we have to give reason to why this would not be so terrible. So we make this young lady pretty terrible. Yeah. In the first film, when they are at school, Glinda attracts all manner of gentlemen, and one of them is a Munchkin lad by the name of Bode, and who is absolutely smitten with Glinda, because everybody's smitten with Glinda, because she's very, very pretty. Because she's not interested in Bode or a whole bunch of other people as well, she redirects his attention to this girl in the wheelchair, the girl in Nessarose. And he lets himself be redirected. He asks Nessarose out to the one ball that everybody wants to go to. And Nessarose is in love with Bode. Oh, and he is looking at Glinda. And when we come to the second film, Nessarose is now the governor of Munchkin Land, and Bode is one of the commanders there, and she keeps grabbing for him, and he's still not in love with her. He's not the only guy who's doing stupid like this, because Fiyero, the young man that Glinda is in love with, and who doesn't like Glinda as well, but Elphaba also very nice. He is very wishy-washy, and he's as wishy-washy in the second movie as well. He's going. They get to a point where there's almost a marriage between Glinda and Fiyero, and he doesn't walk out, but that's what it comes down to. In the middle of it, it's, guy, tell the girl that you're not interested. And as much as I appreciate that Bode was stuck between a rock and a hard place, he should have not gone with Nessarose. If you don't like the girl, don't go with the girl. It's not fair to either of you, you know, because now Bode paid for it. Fiyero even paid for what the stuff happened. Nobody's getting out without any bloody clothes here. Absolutely not. Uh, but what is the point of this? What is the message? Because at the end, Elphaba is still the Wicked Witch, and everybody thought she was wicked, whereas she was absolutely the reverse of wicked, and it's Glinda who ends up having to fill out the legacy of what Elphaba wanted, and her reputation is shot. So the Wicked Witch is dead. Yay! Ding dong! The Wicked Witch is dead. The Wicked Witch. La 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 la. You know, what is your message here? Beautifully sung, but what's the message? The evil will win on paper, definitely. Yeah, no, or evil is vanquished on paper but wins in reality. This is. Glinda does do some good at the end. She gets rid of all the bad things, but she's still as vacant as she always is. She's going to have to work a lot harder than this for to be actually good, because she's now good shaped. It's not the same thing. Sort of, she thinks this is the hole, so I have to try and fit into this. That's what she's doing.
What about the storyline with the animals being... they weren't allowed to be intelligent anymore. They were going to be treated like animals.
Yeah. And that's just through the entire thing, because the wizard wants to build a road network, and the color has been decided. It is yellow. He wants to build the yellow brick road, and for that he needs laborers. And so these animals that are now not supposed to be intelligent can be harnessed and made into slavery. Yeah, this is why the wizard is bad, because he enslaves people, and he does everything that any fascist government does. What I don't like this story for is that in the end, Glinda takes over this world. She's going to have to modernize a lot to get rid of all these fascist ideas. All these things that don't belong in Oz. It's not decisive enough. This is not a case of hero fights against the evil and the evil is vanquished at the end. Like in Star Wars, once you actually vanquish the Emperor, the regime will actually topple. You have a lot of mess afterwards, but you can clean it up. And here it doesn't seem to be that way, because it's not just a wizard. It was also like the governor of Munchkinland, because it was not just a wizard.
And Madame Morrible.
Yeah,
was also, and she was in charge of the school.
Yes, Madame Morrible, and a good influence on the very strong influence on the wizard. So she was a person with a lot of power. And she has, what is the state? There is no government construct there at all, because now Glinda is in charge. What the wizard used to do and what Madame Morrible used to do, Glinda is now in charge. And this is so weird. And kind of bad world building, and I know that Frank Baum had better world building than that. It really did. You know, the original had way better world building than that, and he deliberately did not include a school or things like that, because that doesn't belong in Oz. These things don't, and it.
But he did address governance, and so he addressed that Dorothy was good at it, and that Ozma was good at it.
Yeah.
But also the wizard, up to a point, was good at it. The wizard in the books was not a bad guy.
No.
Not at all.
No, that is all this newer book. That's the thing about fanfic, is that you take your character and adapt it to what you have in mind, which was, for this guy, wanted to see the bad guy being the wizard and being that side. That's the premise of that book and not of the original, and that's why I don't like it, because it subverts the original in a way that it was not okay with an actual fan. I'm sorry, it's not.
I have one more problem with the film, and I was hoping that the second movie would deal with it, and that is the inherent racism of the entire storytelling.
It does not. And it's the entire the racism of the storytelling is a twofold problem. Is, of course, Elphaba is green and people in Oz are not green, and it drives them up to bananas. That's the one. The other one is that the actress under this green makeup is black, and then she gets treated this way. Literally, I was watching the special. There's a special recently came out, and I got it somewhere. Got to see it somewhere. Musical special, and they had some interviews with some of the actors. They were all sitting together, and the fella, I didn't write his name down. He plays one of the students in the first movie. Him and another lady are the ones who are absolutely biggest helper bullies of Glinda, the fan club of Glinda, basically. And he was, because he has a couple of really nasty jabs at Elphaba. I think they're musical jabs as well. And he said, whenever I did a scene with Cynthia, I did the scene and then I would apologize afterwards. Because yes.
Fair.
It doesn't get better in the next movie, because he and the lady actually graduate to the retinue of Glinda at the Emerald City, because she moves there. And so, no, it doesn't get any better. Great.
So I was hoping for the second movie to deal with the vilification of Elphaba, because the first movie starts with everybody dancing on her grave, effectively, and this huge poster of her hanging on a wall being all evil. So propaganda on top of everything.
Yeah, no, the propaganda of how Madame Morrible and Oz, the wizard, vilify her, yeah, a lot, to the point that the animals are leaving Oz because they realize the talking animals, they are too many here, and Elphaba is on the road when it happens, and she tries to stop them and says, please stay and we'll fight. She says, we can't, and your reputation is so horrible already that the few people the few animals that might, that some of them are scared of her. Because that first spell she did wrong was towards an animals in the beginning, the flying monkeys. She created them. It was accidental.
Not in the books.
No, but it's not in the books. You get a new canon. You have this musical canon that is also adapted from the one on stage versus the one on screen, because you have now several different canons. Within this canon, you have already different mess. Yeah, no, I think the advantage of this two set of films is that you have enough time to properly look at the characters and get them a chance to sing all their songs a couple of times if necessary, and that's very enjoyable. But I think the story of this story is less than one film worth. Also, I think I didn't like the ending for the simple practical reason that it was in the stage version. You do something with a shadow play of Dorothy arriving and getting out a water bucket and throwing it at a shadowy witch, and we now know it's fake. It's a whole thing about trapdoors. Wonderful. And I was hoping, also because we saw that picture of Dorothy and Elphaba, that we were going to see the scene properly. But they did the shadow play. And everybody, I've seen a couple of people talk about it. Oh, so wonderful that it's a shadow play exactly also on the stage. This is not stage. This is film. I wanted to see Dorothy because we literally, that picture is more than you see of Dorothy than you see on the screen. Because you only get to see her feet walking and her over her shoulder. I wanted to see Dorothy. You know, I am now annoyed. As a person who liked the books and who liked the original film. There are many people who liked the original film. We wanted to see Dorothy. It's really the only thing I really wanted. And it doesn't have to be a long scene. She didn't have to have a long speech. It would be nice if she said something. But this was too little. We want to see Dorothy. So that was upsetting. Because also you kind of messed up your big finale. Because that should have been the big finale. But it's a shadow play. It's literally, Glinda is looking through a thing, looking at a couple of shadows. That's literally it.
I really have a problem with them not dealing with the inherent racism of the storytelling.
Yeah.
And that this on top of an entire Harry Potter franchise, which also never addressed the racism aspect of their world building.
Yeah. And I think it's not a coincidence because both Harry Potter and this book was conceived in roughly the same time period. So this is the sign of the time, which is now coming out, and people are, the makers are not quite realizing what they have here. And I hope the next. Not that Harry Potter thing that's coming. I'm pretty sure they're not going to say anything. But maybe the next Wicked or the next thing like Wicked will realize, hey, we're being, I call that people in Dutch. We're getting peopled here. We're getting the wool over our eyes. We're getting.
But they are properties that children watch.
Yeah.
And the children are learning that the world has racism and that's just fine. That's not what we're fighting here. We're fighting here over who gets credit for whatever, you know.
But hopefully, in the case of Elphaba, because Elphaba is the absolute hero of this story, and the little kid who is now 5 and watching Elphaba grows up, becomes a 15-year-old, 25-year-old, realizing, hey, this situation is weird. Goes to school, goes to learn to be minister, and then goes to government and does something about it. The problem is that takes a lot of time. But yes, the people who are now making these things are the ones who grew up on Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast and those kind of stories, the Disney stories. They were young when that was going on, and now they are the grown-ups, and they are rocking this because that seems edgy. The Wicked seems edgy to the people who are 40, 50-year-olds and are in charge of making things. So it seems edgy to them, but for the people who are 5-year-old now and will be 50-year-old at some point, they will have something else to be edgy about. And it will be, for that new generation, it will be already old hat. So this, basically, I think the people who make this sort of thing, Harry Potter and this, think they're progressive, whereas the people who are watching it knows it's conservative. It is establishment. And hopefully we get a slow up out of this, because already Wicked is more divisive than Harry Potter ever was. There's Elphaba actually gets angry at people for doing evil things, whereas Harry kind of never did. Also because he's a kid, and Elphaba is absolutely not a kid anymore. But that's his excuse. That's the excuse within the story for him not to go against establishment, whereas Elphaba is straight against establishment, because establishment is not on her side. So maybe slowly onward and upward, but no, it doesn't address it well enough. But maybe the next version of this might, and the next version of Harry Potter, nah, probably not. Look, it is a movie, and the other one is a movie. I would say if you would watch that now, or once you get it onto a DVD or on a streaming service, is take the 5 hours and watch the thing in complete succession. Because I do have to say, this movie has part 2 disease, of course. It has it less so because it does have the ending in it. If it was just part 2 or 3, it's worse. But it has part 2 disease, that it expects you to have seen part 1, and it very touchily it will give you, oh yeah, this, oh that. Literally, by the moment that Nessarose re-emerges is the first time you hear of her in this movie, and it's already they're basically almost her last scene, you know. So that's not good. So I don't know how it could have been avoided. I think literally this is part 1 and part 2, and you have to watch them as a continuous. Then it would work better. And the other thing that it has is because it's a musical. Musicals take more time. They take more time. Any story that is a musical that could be told in an hour and 15 minutes now takes 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, because you need time to sing. So I understand that. And they take enough, because that is important here. We are here for a musical. And for musical film is very, very difficult. More often than not, musical film fails. And it didn't fail. I don't think it failed. I think it has good issues, but I don't think it failed as a musical film. And all the actual problems I have are with the actual storyline. So, other than that, I loved it. It was helpful for me to know that I knew beforehand that her death was not real. That made my life much better, because I did find that out between 1 and 2. Because I wanted to know what are they going to give us here? I want to know now. I usually don't want to know. I want to be surprised, but I didn't want to be surprised by this. So I'm glad to find that not the book, but the stage musical gave it a happier ending, because the book ends badly. Don't read that book. It's not. No. So, and the movie is already sanitized for what was in the musical, and the musical is way sanitized for what was in the book. And it has very little to do with L. Frank Baum's original story, other than the looks, which you get back in a film. You get lots of looks, so it's almost a case of worth buying the art book, If you don't like the story, just buy the art book and look at that, because the art is beautiful and the singing is wonderful. But what they're singing, like Popular, I hate Popular. I'm never gonna sing that. It's the only other catchy tune in the first one. But I'm never gonna sing that, because why would you want to? Seriously. And it sounds peppy is not good enough. I'm sorry. I want the contents also to me be worth the living. This is not, no. So the message is not worth it, and the it's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna have some tea.